Good evening, everybody. It is your boy ABK, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex analysis. I do appreciate it. And so, you know how things go. You know how things go. First things first, I go ahead and check out the news for the week just to make sure that if anything possible can happen that can bring any type of high impact volatility, high impact news to the charts, that's what I'll be looking at. And so, first things first, I'm going to be looking at Tuesday. We have no news Monday, no news Sunday. Tuesday, we have USD news at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and that will be for CB Consumer Confidence. 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have AUD news, CPI, and trimmed meat CPI. Wednesday, we have 7:30 a.m. Canadian dollar news, CPI, and USD FOMC 1 and 1:30. FOMC is going to be what I'm watching for. So on Wednesday during wood meat reversal, as there is, that's what it could possibly be some type of reversal that we'll be seeing this coming week on Wednesday. Thursday, we have advanced GDP for the US dollar at 7:30 a.m. And 7:30 a.m. on Friday, we have GDP for the Canadian dollar and core price index for the US dollar. So that's out the way. Let's go ahead and look at the charts. So first, let's go ahead and put this on full screen mode if I can. I don't know why. I'll be bugging sometimes. All right, so US dollar. First, let's go ahead and go on to the weekly. Let's see what that weekly candle is looking like. So first and foremost, I'm going to get rid of this fib that I have on here. Don't need to see that right now. So on this weekly candle, I'm seeing that there's just wicks going both to the downside. Let me get rid of that. Both to the downside and to the upside. I do like how price did indeed come back up to this zone to reject off of it. But it's still possible. It's really still possible for the US dollar to keep going to the upside. It's really hard for me to try to want to buy the dollar at this point. So I'd rather just be patient, just wait for a better opportunity to be looking for sells. I don't want to be looking for buys when price is at a resistance. That's not my style of trading. Going on to the daily time frame. Sorry, I had to put the light on. Going on to the daily time frame though, I do want to see. I had mentioned this on my live analysis like the other day, not the other day, just on Thursday, and I was saying that at this point it's just safe to wait for a breakout of some sort of the DXY, because especially when I'm seeing this type of, hold on, let me change this color. There you go. So especially when I'm seeing this type of candlestick patterns going on, I have a bearish candle right there with the wick to the upside rejecting off of this trend line right here. When I'm seeing this, and then I also see a candle that has a long wick to the downside rejecting off of this support, and also this trend line that's going to the upside, it's like, okay, price doesn't know exactly what it wants to do. It just looks very weird to me on the higher time frames. Even on the 4-hour time frame, we see that price pushed to the downside, rejected, but it didn't ever closed under this 50 EMA or the support or this trend line down here. So it's like, okay, what is price really trying to do, right? So again, I say that the best option that you could make at this point is for you to just really wait for price to break out to the downside, retest, and then continue. You know, like that's just the best thing that you can do. Like going on to if you go on like to the lower time frames and then you fib this downside move, if you really fib it, you can see that price is definitely at an area where it can continue falling. It's rejected off of that 0.71% fib. So price could definitely start to fall from here. I do have this alert. Well, I have the alert set for the 78.6. And so if that ends up, hold on, let me see something real quick. Okay, cool. So if that ends up playing out and price comes up to 93.049 and then rejects, especially if it comes back up to this zone and then falls, like that would be cool. That would be awesome, and that would be for what the breakout to the downside would be, for price to come all the way down to the negative 0.618 fib, and which is at 92.087 tracement, and then continuation to the to the downside. That's what I really want to see on these cryptos. So with that being said, um, let me go ahead and go on over to arbitrage, see what arbitrage is talking about. So weekly time frame. Weekly time frame has been bullish, like I've been mentioning for the past couple of weeks now. It's been 1, 2, 3. It's been almost a month since arbitrage called for a buy on the DXY, but I really still do need this retracement before I can buy it. I really do need that retracement before I get in, but I do know the possibility of price continuing to the upside. It does exist, and when you really look at the level pro and the arbitrage Z right here, it's showing that price is going to keep going to the upside. So but it's just for better risk reward ratio, you know. I do believe the US dollar is bullish, but it's just, you know, like I said, it's just for better risk reward ratio. Daily time frame, we do have price. It is riding, I mean, it's rejected off of this deviation too. I like seeing that. But it's still not showing us any type of signs for a sell or a push to the downside on the daily time frame for arbitrage. The 4-hour time frame, we do have price has been riding on this RSI line, and it does show that it might want to indeed go for a bearish move, but it's not quite there yet for the 4-hour either. So just would leave that alone. 1-hour time frame, it looks like price is just kind of consolidating at this point right here. Called for this buy. Dang, this played out nicely. This really played out nicely right here. But yeah, for me personally, I'm just gonna have to wait for just to be safe. Like I said, I mean, I do know that price could fall from right here, but the safest bet is for you to wait for that breakout before trying to sell the DXY or anything like that. So that's basically all I would really watch for, honestly, for just wait for the breakout. Let's go on over to Euro USD. All right, so Euro USD, gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Gonna get rid of all this stuff. Probably gonna talk about the same exact thing. I'm not too sure yet. So weekly time frame, going on to the weekly. Looking at the candlestick, price looks like it still wants to continue going to the downside, but it closed basically at the same price that price wicked down to last week, right? I do still see that there is this possibility. I still do see this possibility from that low to this high, that price is still at a swing buy area, right? It's still rejecting off of this 78.6 zone regardless. It's still rejecting off of this zone throughout over here, you know? So that's something that I still am watching. I still am seeing that, okay, price is still in an area where price can go bullish. However, if price keeps falling and goes to the downside, then I wouldn't really be trying to look for that retracement, because that's what I'm still looking for, is this retracement up to these highs and then a continuation to the downside. There you are. And then a continuation to the downside. That's what I'm looking for personally, you know? And so with that being said, since I'm watching for this move overall, I am wanting price to make a move like this. I like the daily time frame that is giving me like some type of doji candle, but I'm not caring for the previous day, how this wick pushed to the upside and then drop like that. What I really want to see happen is for price to break out of this falling wedge, retest, and then continue to the upside. That's what I really want to see on Euro USD, right? Let me go ahead and hide that and hide this. Get rid of that as well. So So this is what I want to see overall. But again, when I'm seeing this type of price action, when I'm seeing the type of volume that came with this big, this bearish candle right here as well, but then I match it up with the rest of the volume, it makes me not think that that's something crazy to be watching for, like something that, oh, this is gonna absolutely keep going bearish. No, it's, I mean, the volume over here picked up when it was pushing to the upside, then dropped. But as price was dropping, the volume was decreasing as well. So that's why I'm just like, at this point, I just want to see the breakout, retest, the continuation. I want to see price break out of this structure right here. I wanted to break through these highs right here. You know, I wanted to break out, retest, and continue to the upside. That is the move that I am waiting for on the US dollar. I mean, on the Euro USD. So let me get where these trend lines are. There you are. Let me get this falling wedge back up here. And so yeah, this is what I have to wait for. Like, there's nothing else that I could really play off of this. It's just way too sloppy for me to try to play anything in between it. Although I do see that, yes, if you technically take it from this low to this high, price is all up, retracing up in this area where it's just sloppy, man. Like, I don't like where it's at. I do see that, yes, it is in my buy area, and if I were to have placed a buy on this trade, I would still be in the trade. It would not have hit my stop loss or anything like that, but it's just sloppy. So again, I would rather just see, ooh, what am I doing? I do not want to see my face that big. I'd rather just see price continue to the upside. Like I said, like, I see it, but it's just, nah. It's just best to be safe. Going over to arbitrage. 1 hour time frame is calling for the sell, is rejecting off of the 1 hour time frame RSI line. Don't really like seeing that. Euro USD for our time frame, we do have the RSI line right here. Would naturally want to see that happen. So same thing based off of both. Like, the same thing I want to see on technical analysis as I want to see on arbitrage. The daily time frame is very much bearish, and the weekly, same thing. It's been calling for the sell for how many weeks now? I want that retracement though overall before I continue selling it. So nothing's really changed for me on Euro USD. It's just really sloppy right now, and it's really hard to trade. AUD USD. Oh man, AUD USD. Let's go ahead and take a look at this on the weekly time frame. Oh, what do I have all over here, man? Okay. Weekly time frame. So I've been mentioning that AUD USD is currently in this swing buy area where price can definitely look to go bullish. And I was saying that, I'm waiting for price to retrace before I want to see it continue to the downside. And so, price is doing what I wanted it to do. Like, it's respecting this buy zone, but I do not know necessarily how long it's going to respect that, because if the US dollar keeps being weak and the AUDs being strong, then that would be an interesting play on this. That would make this indeed go bullish. But if they're both going to be weak, then it's going to just be consolidating. So right now, I'm currently watching how AUD USD is moving. It's still very much bearish. Not really too many signs that are saying that it can go bullish. I do see this, not necessarily a morning star, but I do like these wicks to the downside that price had left before going bullish. But then the same thing could be said about the candlesticks that was left out on the last 2 days of the week. They're both bearish candles, and they're both like kind of tweezer tops looking. You know, so not necessarily they're not to the tops, but they both have wicks to the upside that they kind of made like, oh, this they just went slightly higher and then ended up falling. So going on to the 4 hour time frame, what I would like to see on 80 USD. This is me like, and this is the same thing that Peyton I mentioned. He wanted to see price breakout, retest, and the continuation. Not necessarily retest the structure, but this was the structure that I wanted to see price break out of. If I go on to the 30-minute time frame, you can see that this was a zone that price really did break and retest to continue to the upside. So I would want to see price retrace back down, not that low, probably like around like right there. Let me drop the fib to make sure that's where it's at. Yep, right in the same area. This is what I'm looking at for 80 USD in this coming week. For price to push down and then continue going to the upside. Because I do know that there will be traders that will be looking to buy over here, but I want that best pricing, and 0.73200 is not a bad entry for me personally. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on 80 USD, taking it to the upside. And overall, on the daily time frame, what I want to see happen to 80 USD is from when price really started this bearish push, I want to see it retrace back to those highs. So I'm going to go ahead and mark off 0.76380, and I want to see price come up, eventually come up here. You know, once price gets up there, then that's when I'll start to be like, okay, now I'm looking for some really long-term sells on 80 USD. But until that happens, I can't sell from right here, especially when I'm at this swing buy area. Absolutely not. I cannot be looking for sells like that unless it's like for like a super small time frame retracement for price to drop back down to these to 0.73200, and then price continuing bullish, then yeah, maybe I will. So going over to arbitrage, weekly time frame has been very bearish on 80 USD. It didn't really hit that mean line. It came very close to it, left a wick. That weekly time frame looks to me like price might want to go bullish, but I don't like seeing that magenta candle with that. Still want to see this retracement overall. Oops, what did I do there? No, I still want to see this retracement before I look to get into a 80 USD sell. Daily time frame, very much bearish, not really showing any signs of pulling up yet, but it is at the second deviation, so that is a sign to say that, hey, price may start trying to go bullish, maybe, but that's not the only sign that I want to see. 4 hour time frame, on the other hand, has just caught for a buy and is retesting this RSI line and lower danger zone. Dang, this is making me want to buy this right now, to be quite honest with you. And if I were to buy it for arbitrage users, I would say that it goes all the way up to these highs. And my stop loss would probably be at these lows, 0.72878. But again, I do want to see this play happen instead. I would really love for this play to happen. But I do know that right now, especially when price is riding that 4 hour time frame, that it could definitely hold here and price can go bullish. And if you want a safer stop loss, like let's say you want to get into the trade and you want to have a safe stop loss, I would say my stop loss would put it like right here, and then don't risk your full 1% at this position right here. What I would say is that if you want to have this type of stop loss and like take profit, which is a 1 to 3.73 risk to reward ratio, I would say right here is like, okay, if price really does come to these lows, then the risk 0.3% on this trade, or risk 0.5%, whatever you want to risk, like it's up to you. But this is just my opinion, because I still want to see price come to those lows and then blast off. So that's why I say you could do it like that instead, right? 1 hour time frame, it's calling for the sell. So that's another reason why I don't necessarily want to buy right here. That's like one of the another main reasons why I don't really want to buy here. And look where my stop loss is at, right where my take profit would be if I would have gone into this sell, like right here. I would have gone into that sell. That's where my take profit would be, where my stop loss is at. So that's another reason why I would say, if you are going to get into this trade and you do want to put a full, like your full risk, like let's say if you're risking 2% of your trade, then you want to put your stop loss below those lows. And it's kind of a 1-to-1, 1-to-1.3 risk to reward ratio. It's not, that's not necessarily the risk to reward ratio I like to take on my trades, but it's not a bad trade setup. 1-to-1 is never a bad trade setup. But do know that the 4 hour time frame is still, it's not 100% saying that this is going to buy. Like it's still like the Lolo Pro and the arbitrage C are still pointing down. So that's even more reasons why I want to see that retracement first. So basically, this is what I would want to see for me to get into a AUD USD buy. You see that risk reward ratio, how it changes. That's exactly what I want to see. So that is for that. All right, so now let's go on over to USDCHF and going over to the, first of all, I'm going to wipe this all off real quick. That was a trade setup that I had, or I was talking about on Thursday for next wave. All right, so daily time frame. I still want it. This is what I want to see overall on UCHF. I want to see price push to the downside 0.90299 or at 0.90578, whichever one of the two entries I see the best price action at, and I get the best entry at, is where I'm going to be looking for long-term buys. That's where I'm going to be putting like my max lots. And I'm going to be holding the trade, or not max lots, but like high position. And that's where I'm going to be looking for buys. That's what I'm looking for overall with this USD CHF. Weekly time frame candlestick is showing a doji. The wick to the upside looks higher than what it is, but I mean, I got to see how the candle actually like. It's because of spreads and the way how the spreads look, right? Like, right before the market closes, it leaves big spreads. So again, daily time frame, I like the candle that I'm seeing. If that's actually the way how the candle closed, I think that is. So I would want to see price push to the downside. Oops. Let me go ahead and get rid of this real quick. And I'm going to show the setup that I was talking about on last week. So from that high of 0.92690 to the low of 0.91158, price has come into this sell box and rejected off of the 71% that I usually look for nicely, and price ended up pushing to the downside. I was able to get into that trade, and I was saying that, okay, after that I wanted to see a retracement before I get back into anything, right? So with that being said, I was looking for this retracement. Once we got this sell off, I was on the lower time frame. I was looking for this retracement. And I was saying, okay, if price can come back up, that's why I have this line right here. If price can come back up here and reject off the 71% or 78.6, which it did, then I expected to continue falling, which it did. So right now I wouldn't try to get into anything if the market opens. Just let the market play out. It's the same thing. Wait for the breakout to happen, basically, before trying to get into anything, Like overall, I still want to see down here get hit, no cap, like 0.90300. I want to see those lows get hit. So I want to see this continue to sell. So with that being said, sell box, you had multiple times to try to sell up in here. And if price continues to fall, then price continues to fall. S&P. This is exact. Well, hold on. Before I go to the S&P, let me go on an arbitrage real quick. 4-hour time frame called for the sell right as soon as the market closed. This is kind of iffy, but I do want this to sell overall, so that's a good sign for me. 1-hour time frame, it's this looking like price is consolidating, so not really going to be paying attention to the 1-hour time frame real quick. I mean, at this moment, daily time frame still holding at this range. I like seeing that, and it's still technically speaking, the daily time frame did close inside the lower danger zone. So I mean the upper danger zone right here. So I cannot be mad at that. And the weekly time frame is still rejecting off of this mean line. So again, I want to see that retracement back to this RSI line, and then I'll start to look for buys for reals on UCHF. So that's for UCHF. Going over to the S&Ps. These things are crazy indeed, making higher all-time highs each and every week. This is exactly what I talk about all the time. I'm saying like, yo, you have a better chance at buying these US index pairs whenever they drop. You have a higher chance of you just buying and holding that buy every time it drops. Like if it drops like this, just buy it. If it drops like this right here, just buy it, because this look it's just making higher highs, like all-time highs, and it's weird. It's funny to see, but it's right here, like right here. Once you see price skating up like that, this consolidation zone, you could have entered right here, take off, because I mean it's interesting. And you can't even get an entry off of a good retracement off of any of these bullish moves. You can't. Like, once I saw this, I was like, oh, this looks like price is going to probably keep going to the upside without any retracement. Like, it's hard. So, I mean, same thing with the US 30. It looks like it's about to break these all-time highs. So, it's like no point. But again, that's why I say that right here, I was saying that right off of this zone, price can literally go bullish after, look at 61.8, can take off. I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't see. It's back up into its basic. It came back up to its previous all-time highs. Let me see if it even surpassed it. 35053.5, 35100. You see, that's what I'm. So it's like, it's wild. It really is wild to see these things just make higher all-time highs. So, and same thing here. I mentioned price right here off of this zone could potentially go bullish, and it just took out those lows, took off, man. And this probably gave the best type of entry that you could have gotten out of the three right here with these wicks. But you would have had to put a buy limit. I mean, a buy limit right at that 61.8, and then boom, take off. So that's why I don't be trading these indices anymore, man. But hey, like I said, you have a better chance of buying these things whenever they make a deep retracement than anything else. All right, USDMXN. This is exactly the reason why I said I'm not looking to buy this thing, because now it's made that retracement back into the zone. I'm not mad at it though, because that's kind of what I wanted it to do. And so now that it's made that high, like I mentioned, if price does indeed come back to my 19.94323 area and it actually rejects there, yes, I'm going to then buy USDMXN and finally get this play that I want for it. Since it dropped, I want it to go bullish, right? That's what I've been wanting it to do, but it's very skeptical. So I'm watching to see how that plays out. That's the same, like I'm not, like I said, until this thing plays out, I'm not over analyzing USDMXN until it gets there. I like the way how it's slowly getting there. It's taking its sweet time, but it did reject off of the 61.8. I need it to drop lower though. All right, gold. Gold, everyone's favorite pair, gold. Personally speaking, let me get rid of all this actually, because I'll talk about that once it gets there. So right now, Gold is at the zone that it's been rejecting off of. As you can see on the left, it's used it as a very solid. Let me go to the 4-hour time frame. It's better on the 4-hour time frame. So as you can see on the left, price used it as a resistance and now is using it as a support. This is a main zone that price is using, and you know, price can definitely take off from where it's at. It doesn't look bad necessarily. If it breaks through, I mean, I know one of my students, they said that if price breaks through 1810, then he expected it to go bullish, and I definitely agree with them. If it breaks through this 1810, 1815 area, then I do expect price to continue going bullish. Because if you do draw the zone, like you have it going all the way to the left, and then you go on to the weekly time frame, you can see how sturdy this zone is, even all the way to these over here to the left. You can see that this is a very main zone overall. So what I still want to see 1869 get hit. I've been talking about this for, I feel like, months now. I still want to see 1869, like the 1869 get hit, and then for price to continue going to the downside. But as of right now, I do want to see price make this retracement. Let me get rid of these fibs. I do want to see price make this retracement at this point. Oops. To continue going bullish. And then I will look to sell it once that happens. So I kind of, if price does end up holding at this this key zone, then I do want to see again, I do want to see price will end up probably just going bullish if it holds at this zone. But I do want to see price still come to 1775 high key and then go to 1869 at this point. Like, I'm not really trying to buy off of this zone right here. But if it does buy off of here, then it's not like the end of the world, you know? Like, it's not like as if it's not like as if price wasn't telling you that it was going to sell, because it kind of was multiple times. But you know, it's just, even right here, even right where price is at right now, if I go onto the lower time frames, it could be potentially, oh, this is gonna continue falling. That's what it kind of looks like to me, right? If I go into the lower time frame, let me get off of that. Look where price from this high to this low. Look where price rejected off of multiple times, 71% fib, so it could definitely still fall. And if it falls, look exactly where the take profit would be at for the extensions, at literally my entry where I'm looking to buy. So let's see what happens with gold. It's going to be interesting to see, but those wicks on the 4-hour, they are not telling me that price wants to sell by any means. But wicks, you know, sometimes the candlesticks, they can tell you some things, and price is going to literally do the exact opposite. Weekly time frame, price is still holding under that mean line and is holding under that RSI line, so I'm not bullish on it yet, although it's called for the buy, and that's only because the compass line, this blue line, is currently over the RSI line. So that's the reason why that's called for a buy. Daily time frame, these wicks, again, there's a lot of wicks right here, so I do kind of want to see price push to the upside. As you can see, there's wicks that are rejecting the upside. Price ended up pushing down. Just gonna wait and see what happens. With gold, 4-hour time frame, everything's rejecting off of this lower danger zone right here, so that kind of tells me that price wants to go bullish, but I don't want to buy here, like I said. And the 1-hour is calling for sells, rejecting off of that. It's just, like I said, I just would rather wait for my technical analysis. 1775, if price can drop down to that low, that's when I'll look for buys. Or, you know, and if it doesn't, then at that point, I probably just have to wait for these. I would just probably have to wait for this zone to get broken through. Retest continuation. So those are my two options that I have for gold right now. So let's go on over to Bitty Bitcoin. Bitty Bitcoin. Oh yeah, I like what it's doing. All right, so Bitcoin, I still have the same thing. Wherever price stops at, I want to take that retracement and then continuation to the upside. Don't really have anything much to say else about it. It keeps going bullish. I like that. I love that it keeps going bullish. No cap whatsoever. However, you do also have to understand that price could still be rejecting at these levels. It's not still super safe yet. Even if it keeps going right here, which I mean, like I said, I would, if price stops right here, that'd be kind of cool. I like this possibility, but even right here, if you put the fib right here, or if you put the fib up here, these are all levels, like these are all areas where price is still subject to possibly continue going to the downside. So you do want to be careful at these prices. However, current price action is in favor of the bulls. When you talk about the 1 hour, 4 hour time frames, they are definitely in favor of the bulls. So with that being said, again, with the crypto markets, you definitely want to be careful because if you take it from this high of 36,628 to the low of 29,327, price is literally rejecting off of the 61.8. If you put the fib on here, price is literally about to reject off of the 71% fib. And if you put it at these higher lows, then price is just barely above the 78.6. So this is a whole area where I'm going to be watching out for potential rejections, because I know that it could possibly happen. I want to be able to look at both sides of the coin and make a decision based off of how I'm feeling, based off of my experience. So that is definitely not a demand zone. Supply. Okay, so gonna see what this do. There we go. Oops, that is the wrong thing I wanted to hide. There we go. So I want to see this play out really. Like wherever Bitcoin stops at, that's where I want to see the rejection. I mean the retracement, the continuation. Same thing literally applies to Ripple. Wherever it decides to stop at, that's where I want to see the retracement and continuation. I'll look at arbitrage for Bitcoin as soon as I'm done with this. Same thing. And literally same thing applies to the opposite. If you would have stayed in this buy for the long-term buy, your stop loss would have not been hit. So that's what's up. I like to see that. I still want to see this play out overall. Go on back to Bitcoin real quick. Let's go on to arbitrage. 1 hour time frame been calling for buys. I like seeing that. 4 hour called for this buy. I never got the retracement, unfortunately. So end price continued going bullish. Daily time frame finally has broken through the RSI line. I like seeing that, but now I still gotta wait for my confirmations when it comes to Bitcoin. I still gotta wait for these confirmations out here. Ripple, same thing, about to call for the buys. I still gotta wait for the confirmations. I gotta wait for that breakout, retest, continuation, just like how I have right here. Nothing's really changed for me on that end. 4 hour time frame called for the buy. It never gave the retracement, although I was saying that price broke out of here. If price comes back down here, you could possibly buy. I mentioned that on Thursday or Wednesday, I think. Ethereum, just going over to Ethereum. I'm not gonna look at the lower time frames because they're all bullish right now. Ethereum though I love seeing that it broke through this high. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see it break through this high. I love seeing the price action on these cryptos right now, no lie. So again, same thing, wherever this stops at, I want to see price continue to the upside. And if you would have gone into this long-term buy, and same thing applies, if any of these long-term buys, that's why I like my strategy. But at the same time, it's just it's about being safer rather than being sorrier. Is that if my stop loss gets hit, then it's either A, wake me out, or B, just keep dropping. And so this never hit stop loss if you would have gotten in it, based off of if you know my strategy or how I set my stop losses and stuff like that. And I still want to see price take off. I still want to see price go bullish. But again, I want to, if wherever price stops at, wherever the retracement goes down to, that's where I'll be looking to buy at. Ethereum, I'm going to arbitrage, and same thing, 1 hour time frame, been calling for buys. 4 hour time frame, called for the buy right here, never gave the retracement. Daily time frame above the RSI line, but again, I do need to see confirmations. I do need to see confirmations before I actually get into this trade or the long-term buy. Litecoin, same thing. I need to see my confirmations. Like I need to see price breakout higher above the RSI line before I get into it via arbitrage. But via technical analysis, I still need to see the retracement. And same thing applies. These lows never got ran through, they never got broken. So if you would have taken those long-term buy trade, and you would have held it based off of how my stop losses and all that stuff, you'd still be in the trade and you would be in profits. But we don't talk about, we don't count that stuff. That's just, it's just like ego, if you will. I don't know. I don't think it's ego. I don't know what you would call it. Anyways, and same thing with Litecoin. Again, we gotta wait for the daily time frame confirmations for me to be really, really confident that yes, we can still be in buying territories. So let's go ahead and go on over to GBP USD. GU, I had mapped this out, I think slightly after Payton did his analysis on Wednesday, and so it's hit the 61.8. I would like it to come up a little higher, but slowly would be cool before getting into a sell. And if price can do something like this, even like I wouldn't be mad if price did something similar to this, where it's from this low to this high, it retraced back down, and then came back up to here. Even if it came up to like the negative 38.2, I wouldn't be mad at that. And then for continuation, I won't be mad at that type of play at all, like no cap. So I'm watching to see what GU is going to do. What did I have originally? Oh yeah, so this is what I still want to see what's going to happen here overall. But I do want price to come up to 0.71% fib and then continue falling to 1.36624. That's what I'm seeing on GU. The 4 hour time frame has called for the buy, so that's something that you want to watch out for price to continue going bullish. Daily time frame is bearish, so I don't have anything there. I need to stand up real quick. Hold on, give me a second. I'll join those. All right, my bad. Sorry about that. I was getting a little antsy and I had to like just stretch, you know, it's just ADHD things. But anyways, yeah, I just want to see low-key price continue to the downside. No cap, like weekly time frame, if I remember correctly. Ooh, that weekly time frame candle makes this look like GBPs just want to go bullish. Oh my goodness, I did not see that weekly candle. Price is under the weekly RSI line. Price is currently under the weekly RSI line, and this is what I've been wanting to see. I wanted to see that breakout, retest, continuation. So, I mean, position trade wise, realistically speaking, position trade wise, this is not a bad setup. This is not a bad setup position trade wise. These are the type of trades that I kind of live for. It's just that I don't like how that weekly candle looks. But position trade wise, this is a 1 to 2. This is not a bad trade for me personally. So I'm going to be watching this. Going to see what pricing is going to be looking like on Monday before I'll try to get into something like that. Not even sure if I would get into something like that. 1 hour time frame is calling for a sell already. Ooh, yeah, I want to see these GBPs fall. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for GU. So this can definitely be what's playing out. I mean, off of the 61.8, it could be what's playing out. Let's see what happens. GBP AUD. GBP has been doing a lot of consolidating, and I've been saying that I want to see it push to the downside, because if you go onto the weekly time frame, it is at a high, it is at a major zone, it is at a major supply zone. So what I really, like I said, what I really want to see on the daily time frame is for price to break out to the downside, retest continuation, kind of like what EU is doing. I mean, kind of like what all those USD pairs are doing, right? I want to see it really break to the downside, retrace and continue before looking for any type of really bearish move, like serious bearish move, right? So that's what I'm looking at for on on GA. Gonna go ahead and remove these. I like that. 1 hour time frame is very consolidating and sloppy, so leave it alone. 4 hour time frame, I need it to break under these lows and retest before I look to get into a sell. And it needs to call for that sell as well. And then daily time frame, very bullish, and the weekly time frame, it's been bullish for so long. It's hit the take profit of, if I was trying to actually trade this to come new weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks for it to get up here. So I mean, from when it called that buy, how many pips would that have been? From when it called this buy, I mean, that was a good solid entry, I'm not gonna lie. What was it close? 1.78197. So it closed right here. Dang, 891 pips. That's wild. But yeah, so that's what GA. I want to see it reject and start to fall to the downside right here. I like it's holding at both high levels of resistance that I would look to be selling at, but I need to wait for that hard retracement, you know. GJ, this is a trade setup that I am currently in. I'm currently negative in the trade, and I held it over the weekend. I do know that price can still hold right here. It's technically at the 71% fib from this high, and I do know that I could place, like, let's just say I could get into where price is at that 71% and move my stop loss above those highs. I could play that, but I'm going to play this right now and see what price does. And if price does indeed come and hit my stop loss, then guess what? That's going to be a chance that, okay, my stop loss got hit. If price comes to 152.395, I could try it again, you know? I just got to be able to see what that price action looking like. Price did climb up here pretty fast. It is on the 4 hour time frame, so that's something that I like to pay attention to, that it is on the 4 hour time frame rather than on the small time frame. I saw a head and shoulders pattern right here, and that will be talked about on a trade review tomorrow with Peyton for the next wave. So GBJPY, the bullish move played out well. I want to see it sell from here though. But again, this is for like the bigger swing move, but this is the play that I'm currently playing off of right now. And again, I am currently in the negative right now. So that's for GJ. Gonna go ahead and go on to arbitrage real quick, see what they talking about. So the weekly time frame literally rejected off of the weekly RSI line and upper danger zone. So this was a zone that I was watching, but I want to see that wick get filled. I want to see it get filled so hard. At this point, daily time frame still very much bearish. Nothing is telling me that this wants to go into a buy yet. 4 hour time frame called for a buy, but I would not have bought from there. And the 1 hour time frame is setting up for a sell, but it is not quite there yet, so I'm watching for that. Let's go over to Euro GBP. Euro GBP, I like seeing this 1 hour buy, and I am in that buy. That's solid, matching up with this setup that I have. So had been waiting for this bearish retracement on EG. I had gone into that sell I had talked about on Thursday, and now I want to take EG to the upside. You know, same thing with the GBPs. I want to see them fall. I want to see EG rise. So, and I like where it's at. Everything is matching up for me. So I'm taking 1 or 2 of these and riding with them. Don't want to take all 4, because if you're wrong, then you're going to lose on all 4. And so it's already hit my entry. My stop loss was under these previous lows. The play is there. I think I've been talking about it for a little bit now. 1 hour time frame on arbitrage is calling for a buy, but it called for that right before market close. So you want to watch for that when market opens. 4 hour time frame is bearish. If anything, I would need further retracement and then a continuation. If anything, I don't like seeing this daily close with the bearish like this, and I don't like the bearish price action, including this how the day closed overall, and then the weekly time frame, how that wick is like that. That is not all those signs. The weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour all showing signs that you do not want to be in this trade. So that's something that you just have to be aware of. They're all showing signs that you do not want to be in that trade. But if you want to, you can take that based off of the lower time frames. But again, those higher time frames, you gotta be careful. This is where now you could be able to backtest, see what works, what doesn't work. If the higher time frames is lying, then you could be like, okay, this time the higher time frames were not being brutally honest. But then if you lose this trade, then you're like, okay, the higher time frames were giving me multiple times already to get out the trade, you know? So that's something you want to watch out for. But other than that, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for checking out my weekly Forex analysis. I do appreciate it. And let's take some money this week. I'm out.